All right, my buddy Drew's back. My favorite man for the best sources of organic whole foods for your kids and your family. And
Thank you.
before we get rolling, I don't want to forget. I don't know if I told you personally, but those happy drops are so fucking badass, man. Those
I
things
made
are
them. I made them
killer.
just for you.
They're killer. The kids love them. I love giving them to them.
The testimonials we have coming in from Happy Drops. If I had one product where it was like, okay, I made a mark, a difference in the world, like
Oh,
fulfilled my dharma, my soul's purpose, those
those things,
things
the
right
first
there.
time I tried those, I was like, "What in the world is in this stuff?" And it's just got a few ingredients in it.
4. Yep.
Yeah.
Saffron, clinical dose of saffron, which has been shown to be as effective as SSRIs
Yeah.
without all the side
You can
effects.
feel it.
Passion flower, gotu kola,
Mhm.
another one of my favorite adaptogens for focus,
Yeah.
and ginger. Who doesn't love
Ginger's
ginger?
good for one of the topics we're gonna get into, parasite
Yeah.
infections. But I
Have you
just
tried our parasite cleanse yet?
I haven't, no.
Oh my god.
I've just finished 2 parasite cleanses in a row, so I'll save it till the next
You're
time
gonna
I
love
need it.
ours. Yeah,
I, um, we do it a couple of times a year just prophylactically.
you have to.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, we sold out of our parasite cleanse within 30 days.
Well, it's a good thing.
People were sending in photos,
Good.
lots of little critters
Yeah.
coming out of people.
Yeah.
People are blown away. They're like, "Really? This was in me?"
Oh, yeah.
It's like, "You have a dog?" Yeah, there's a 100% chance you have a parasite. If you have a
Yeah.
dog, you have cats,
You know what the number one way people get parasites is? I bet you'd be surprised.
water.
Money.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Circulation of money.
Yep.
And you know where the term lunatic comes from.
From the moon.
Parasites are most active around the moon,
Yeah.
ticks, all of that.
Because most people don't know this, but the parasites' full moon is their high noon. So the way the
They
sun
wake
is
up.
above for us,
Mhm.
and we're the most highest cortisol levels at high noon, parasites are in the opposite cycle because they want to eat you while you're asleep. S-
Freeloaders. It's
so
like an Airbnb in your body.
yeah, that's why a lot of people that have parasite infections notice they have weird sensations
Dreams.
like things crawling under their skin and things moving in their body at night because when the moon is at the high peak of its cycle, that's when the parasites are the most active.
Yeah, and a lot of the skin issues people are dealing with today.
Parasites and fungal
Yeah,
infections.
cancer.
Well, there's a huge link between parasite infections and cancer and fungal infections and cancer.
Mhm.
And the underlying theme for both is too much sugar in your body.
Imagine that.
Funguses will the more sugar you eat, the funguses and the parasites come eat the excesses. So the fastest way to get a parasite infection is eat too much of anything or eat too much sugar for your body. The fungal infections, the funguses will that's their favorite food source. So they actually serve the body by consuming sugar to protect the
So
brain.
they're protecting you.
They're protecting you,
Yeah,
but at the same time, they'll set up a network and start eating you. The
that
issue
sounds so morbid.
It's true. The issue that I'll share with you because a lot of people don't realize is a very, very important thing. About 90% of the world population has a parasite infection, and about 90 to 95% of the world population has a fungal infection. If you have a fungal infection and a parasite infection at the same time, which most people do, you always want to kill the fungal infection before you start trying to kill the parasites because fungal mycotoxins have been shown by research to completely confuse the interleukins and cytokines of the immune messengers. So you have no defense against a parasite if you have a fungal infection because the immune system is disabled
Yeah,
by the mycotoxins that are released by the fungi in your body, which they do to proliferate in your body.
interesting.
The fungi are much smarter than the parasites. They're older.
They create biofilm
Yeah,
everywhere.
they got they're the master biochemists of nature.
Mhm.
So they can manipulate your whole internal mechanism. They make you hungry for sugar. Parasites do as well. But the key point is because I get people with bad fungal infections and parasite infections through my whole career. I found early in my career, you cannot get rid of a parasite infection until you manage the fungal infection. And the good news is the same exact diet you got to use to manage a fungal infection is exactly what you got to do to kill parasites.
So cut sugar, grains,
You got to cut all 4 white devils, white flour,
yeah,
white sugar, it's
white rice.
white anything,
Yeah.
white pasteurized dairy, and you want to get rid of sodium chloride because it's not healthy to use sodium chloride as salt. You should use sea salt or something with all the natural minerals in it. It's funny because 97% of the salt used in the world is used for manufacturing. That's why they sell you
The iodized stuff.
sodium chloride, and then they sell you the minerals back through GNC and nutrition stores. So, like the grain, they grind the grain, they sell you the bran, the wheat, and the germ separately. So they make 3 times the money off the one grain, and they take the salt, pull all the minerals out of it, sell it to you in health food stores, but then sell you the sodium chloride as though it's salt, and it screws your body up. And people think it's salt, and they think salt's bad, but they don't realize it's not the salt, it's the sodium chloride. Your body loves salt.
Mhm. Loves it.
Yeah, I mean, you got too much salt when your body doesn't want any more. But animals walk for miles and miles to find salt.
Mhm. So what's the protocol for parasites?
Oh, that's a long story, but I
Yeah.
do have a course called Healing Fungal and Parasite Infections: The Absolute Essentials, which is online at the Chek Institute.
Yeah.
Um, and I take you through all the things, but it's the most important thing is diet. The second most important thing is not getting so tired that your immune system is
Can't
not
fight it
able to
off.
police your body at night. And then the other thing is anything that elevates cortisol, drinking too much coffee, tea, soda pop. Sugar's the number one issue that people have. But anything that you're eating that anything you're eating that your body doesn't want is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Parasites can learn to eat anything. So even if you have, for example, if you have a fungal infection and it's making you crave sweet stuff, but you're trying to kill parasites, the parasites will actually learn to eat and metabolize the parasite herbs. And then all of a sudden the parasite pills, herbs,
Aren't
drugs,
doing
they don't
jack.
work anymore because the parasites will learn how to metabolize them. So if you're doing a parasite cleanse, you have to be extremely strict, or they just learn to eat everything. And while they're doing that, they're laying eggs in your body, and they all have a favorite organ. That's why you have liver flukes, kidney flukes. The Ascaris worm
Now brain
loves
parasites.
the gallbladder and liver. And I've even had women have Ascaris worms coming out of their vagina, 2 cases of that.
I've heard that.
Yeah, they get everywhere. They like women more than men because they like progesterone and estrogen, and women have higher levels of those generally. So women have a higher incidence of Ascaris worm infections are probably the most common parasite infection. But some of the tips are you need to keep your fingernails clean regularly and your hands clean,
Mhm.
because when people are doing things like picking their nose and other normal hygienic stuff, anything that gets under your fingernails will feed the parasites. And a lot of the parasites will come up into your lungs and make your lungs irritated so that you'll cough. And so what they do is they circulate through your body by coming up to the lungs, and then you blow your nose or you cough. And so the larva comes out, then it gets back on your hands, like if you're blowing your nose, and then you end up putting it to your face and it comes back in through your mouth. So,
You're really freaking me out, Paul.
well, I mean, I'm not a clean freak at all.
I
I'm a
know.
nature boy, a farm boy. But if you've got a parasite infection, we all have parasites all the time. They're
100%.
they're part of the terrain, but an infection means that you have enough that it's disrupting your ability to maintain homeostatic regulation of your body systems.
Yeah.
So it's not whether parasites are bad, it's whether you have an infection.
Mhm.
And the symptoms of parasite infections are so many. I can rattle some off: brain fog, unusual increase in your appetite, hunger,
Sleep issues.
sleep problems, waking up in the middle of the night sweating, which is because what happens is when they start eating into you to bury their eggs, it causes an inflammatory response. So it shoots your cortisol up at night, which antagonizes melatonin. So it shuts down your anabolic hormones, stops your body from repairing, makes you very, very tired, which then weakens your immune system.
Mhm.
And so when people wake up in the middle of the night sweating, that's an indication that they've got a parasite infection. And it's a real common one. And then they have a hard time falling back to sleep, and they usually fall asleep right about the time they're supposed to get up. And so they get more and more tired progressively. Um, so anything that elevates cortisol, such as bad diet and lifestyle habits, too much stress, um, overwork, um, you know, toxic food, toxic relationships, over exercising, under exercising, not breathing unnatural breath, which is radically common. Um, Pretty much anything that stresses the body, physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. The body summates stress. So the body doesn't make a differentiation between mental stress, emotional stress, physical
Yeah.
stress, biochem. It all just adds to create a total stress picture.
Mhm.
And that determines how much cortisol you generate. And once you're generating too much cortisol, it starts shutting down melatonin. The other thing that people do that's really a bad idea is drinking any kind of caffeinated beverages after about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because the half life of caffeine is about, oh, if I remember right, it's about 400 minutes.
Mhm.
So if you, go to a restaurant and watch how many people order coffee or
After
espresso
dinner.
after dinner at
Yeah.
8 o'clock at night. So you got a half life on that. So if you take, one black cup of coffee has about 300 to 350 milligrams of caffeine. So 400 minutes later, which is 3 times 6 is 18. It's like four plus hours. You still have 150 milligrams of caffeine. 4 hours later, you still have 75 milligrams of
So your
caffeine.
melatonin's gone,
So you shoot your melatonin right through. You just suppress it.
which is one of the best antioxidants in the body.
That the mess. Not only that, melatonin is the precursor to all your anabolic hormones.
Yeah.
So anything you're doing to elevate cortisol will disrupt your normal sleep, growth, and repair cycle, and then weakens your immune system. High levels of cortisol cause weakening of the immune system. That's well known. So, these are all issues that people are breaking almost every rule constantly. And then if your body starts to get too toxic, then the parasites are much more likely to happen because your body is unable to regulate itself effectively, and you're poison. People forget the function of fungi and parasites in nature is to break down anything that doesn't have enough life force to contribute to nature.
Mhm.
So her sort of self-policing mechanism is if your vitality drops low enough when I teach my holistic lifestyle coaching students, I have a rating scale. So I say an ascended master would have 10 out of 10 for life force or chi. Once you reach 3, you'll die. 7 is the threshold where you start getting susceptible to parasites. So if you don't have at least a 7 out of 10 of vitality, then you're opening the
You're
door
in
to
trouble.
fungus and parasites, and that's Mother Nature's way of saying, "Get your shit together, or we're going to put you back in the dirt." Because in nature, when she kills animals, they go back and they feed the soil. So she takes the weak and feeds the microorganisms to grow healthy plants and make healthy animals. Mother Nature's a ruthless
Mhm.
holder
Savage.
of the rule. The rule is be life and contribute to life, or go back
You're
and
gone.
start at the bottom.
For real.
Yeah.
I think we just did a master course, or at least the start of it, on parasites. Um, I saw a Mel Gibson video recently where he was talking about healing cancer with ivermectin and pembusanol,
Ivermectin's great for killing
and
worm
yeah,
parasites.
a lot of people are dealing with that right now.
Yeah. Some of the other symptoms, well, it's on my mind. So skin sores.
Yeah.
Funguses will give you skin sores that seem like pimples, but if you try to squeeze them, nothing will come out of them. So that's when you can tell someone's got a fungal infection, because they'll be squeezing pimples on their face, but they'll ruin
Nothing's
their
in there.
skin.
Yeah.
Whereas a pimple will pop and the waste will come out, and it usually seals up quite quick, doesn't make a mess of your face. But when you get like nodules that you squeeze and you can't get anything out of them, that's a fungal infection. And so if you have chronic skin problems, especially you'll see people with sores, like they scratch at their skin and it takes the surface off and they look like little wounds all over the
Mhm.
place.
Like a
That's a
leper.
common parasite infection. Parasites have a tendency to make your nose itch. What they'll do is they'll irritate right around the nares. So you'll itch them and get them under your fingernails, and then it makes it back into your mouth to reinfect you.
Oh, interesting.
So having itchy nasal passages is a classic parasite symptom. Excessive wax production in the ears is a common parasite symptom because it's irritating your body. So one of the body's reaction is to try to overprotect itself. Um, you can get chronic dry coughs. That's a classic worm infection. Anemia is a classic symptom of worm infection. Iron deficiency, which is
Yeah,
anemia. So a lot of
because
people,
the worms are eating the iron in the body.
um, the worms, the parasites, unfortunately, they get to your food before you do. So
They take the good stuff
they
and
take
leave
all
you
the good
with
stuff, and then what gets through the small intestine to get absorbed into your body has already been picked over. So um, the other issue is that when people have parasite and fungal infections for any length of time, they often have chronic malnutrition and don't realize it.
Mhm.
And so the more people have malnutrition of any level, the more they start craving things, except because most people are so out of touch with their instincts. When they're craving spinach, for example, they think it is a craving for Doritos corn chips or
Yeah.
something that they're conditioned to eat,
Mhm.
not having a sense of an educated palate.
Addictions.
See, like I'm very sensitive to smells and tastes and the feeling of food. So when my body's craving peppers or um,
Chocolate.
not chocolate, if my body's craving chocolate, I mean, it usually means I'm tired.
Mhm.
That's one of the things that happen is when, parasites, as I said, make you really tired. So they make people crave sweet stuff and stimulating stuff, which is exactly what they want you to eat because it's like a super energy food for them. It jacks them up
Mm.
and they get all excited and they go crazy and they proliferate like crazy. Um, so skin problems, it's very common with parasite infections to have loose stools. Fungal infections, the common symptom is alternating between hard stools and loose stools. So you might have a few days where you feel constipated and all of a sudden you're loose. So that's a common
Interesting.
fungal infection symptom. Parasites, if they, depending on the type of parasite, tend to give you a loose stool if the infection's bad enough.
Mhm.
Um, they can also cause a lot of disruption in peristalsis in the gut. So you can get poops that aren't well formed. They look like rabbit pellet poops. They look broken. Um, but you lose, what I show in How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy is the healthy poopy policeman.
Yeah, the S.
The healthy poop should smell like earthly soil, should be light brown in color, should be easy to pass, and the average person should poop about 30 centimeters of poop a day, or you should have a complete sense of elimination. Because like a 5-foot girl is not going to poop as much as a man your size or a
Mhm.
big man because they just don't eat as much. But generally, the rule is you should have a complete sense of elimination. You shouldn't feel like, God, I wish I could just poop more out of me. And if you do have that feeling a lot, that is a parasite symptom because they can disrupt peristalsis. They can slow it down if they want to, which allows them more time to
To
absorb your
feed.
nutrients.
Mhm.
There's actually quite a lot of chemistry that parasites do. For example, the Ascaris worm can actually cloak itself so that it looks like your own immune white blood cells. It can transform itself so when your immune system sees the worm, it thinks it's seeing your own body.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So they're very hard for the immune system to kill because these parasites have adapted for as long as the Earth's been here. So they have a tremendous amount of experience at how to survive. Um, and the other thing is that the body can also harvest parasites to meet nutritional needs. Years ago, when I was doing tons of research into parasites, I found something really amazing. And what I found is that the worm parasites are high in C reactive protein. Well, most people that are cooking food too much and using microwaves are killing the C reactive protein in their food sources. And the C-reactive protein, sometimes called shock protein, is what gives your cells the ability to bounce back.
Yeah.
That's what gives your body the ability to get hit and not fall apart. So it gives you that natural elasticity. So what I found is by analyzing the diets of people, the more processed and the more they're cooking food, like people that eat steaks well done, they're killing the meat. So the more people tend to cook things, the less C-reactive protein they get. And so one of the theories that I developed just by observing is that a lot of people are harvesting worms to get raw C-reactive
That's
protein
insane.
and for the body to actually get a source of raw food.
Yeah.
And because parasites are animals, the vegetarians that are throwing themselves out of balance by not listening to their body and following an ideology don't realize they're harvesting animals in their body to try to get the protein they need to keep the biochemistry, the neurochemistry of their
You've
brain
literally
running
just blown
functionally.
my mind with that.
It's true.
That's crazy.
I'm sure most of you are aware, even though you may not like the taste of organs, that organ meats are extremely important and good for you. And I've got great news for you. Paleo Valley makes an amazing grass-fed organ complex that's unique and better than anything I've ever found out there. So much better, I wanted you to hear right from Autumn Smith, its creator, exactly what you're going to get from their grass-fed organ complex. Autumn, get us informed on why we should be using your amazing organ complex.
Okay, well, like you said, organ meats are nature's multivitamins. And when we use them, we feel this energy and this stamina. And most people don't like the flavor. So, what we did was we took grass fed and finished organs like liver and heart and kidney, and we just put them into capsules so that you can get all of the benefits, the beautiful benefits of organ meats without actually having to taste them, without liver burps, of course. And they're just freeze dried. So again, they're not processed heavily in any way whatsoever, and they are sourced from American farmers using regenerative agricultural practices. And I sincerely hope you love it.
And all you have to do to try Paleo Valley's organ complex and get 15% off is to go to paleovalley.com/Chek15. That's paleovalley.com/CHEK15 to get the benefits of nutrient-dense organ meats full of vitamin B12 without the unpleasant taste.
Now, I talked to Phil Callahan, who was a genius. He wrote many books, one of which is called Tuning into Nature, which is phenomenal. And I shared some of my theories, and he said, I agree with all of them. But he was an expert in soil science, and he said, whenever I've done consulting work on farms where they have parasite infections, you cannot get rid of the parasites until you improve the quality of the food. So he showed through his research that the most common cause of parasite infections in animals is farmers using poor quality food, such as, corporate made bags of
Yeah. And you think about
animal food
glyphosate and everything else.
and all that crap. So, but he said you will never get rid of parasites on farms until you improve the quality of the food. And you can't get rid of them in human beings either, because they love what we would call the garbage. They love the good stuff and they love the garbage too. So some other symptoms: joint aches and pains, swelling in the body, because you can have millions of worms in your body, and every one of those parasites is peeing and pooping in your body.
Yeah, ammonia and
So
tons
it
of
puts
other die-off,
tremendous chemical load on the body. And so
kidneys.
once the body can't police and detoxify the chemicals from funguses and parasites, it has to shuttle all the chemicals that it cannot break down into fat to protect the brain and the nervous system and the glands and the organs to keep itself alive.
Yeah.
So one of the common symptoms that people get is first you notice you lose muscle definition, then you start getting swelling. Now, when you start seeing swelling appear or what looks like fat around the belly button, that's an early sign of elevated cortisol levels. Other signs that commonly go hand in hand with these issues is bags under your eyes, which is a sign that the kidneys are overloaded,
Yeah.
and allergic shiners, which means your liver is overloaded. So also grinding the teeth at night is a very common indication of parasites, because they jack your cortisol levels up so high, your body cannot go into a rest state. and it overstimulates the mind. So people will often have busy minds, and the excess stimulation from the cortisol and the bugs eating into you winds your sympathetic nervous system up, which increases muscle tone throughout the body. So people often find themselves rolling over a lot at night, like they can't stay still at night. And partners will say, "My God, you're moving constantly all night."
That's interesting. I haven't heard that. The
Yes.
grinding the teeth I've heard, but not the rolling over and moving
Yeah.
around.
Well, the grinding the teeth is a side effect of the same
makes
thing.
sense.
The trigeminal nerve, which feeds the jaw system, is very, very linked in to all the brain centers.
Yeah.
So do you think we use your jaw to speak, and you're speaking about your emotions and your thoughts and your feelings? The trigeminal nerve also links into the upper 4 cervical segments of the spine. So anything that's irritating your neck can flow over into the trigeminal system. And so people will actually brux, which is grinding the teeth, for the same reason that they have increased muscle tone, because the body's actually trying to take the excess energy out of the glands and organs and convert it into muscle tension, which dissipates off the body as heat. So the muscles actually turn out to be the fuse box for the glands and the organs. So the same way, if you overload a circuit breaker in your house, it'll blow a fuse. But in your spinal cord, the internuncial pool is the fuse box. And so whenever the internal systems that are core survival systems get overstimulated, remember the word dis-ease is disease, too much energy.
Yeah.
So it'll take any gland, organ, or any of the nervous system that has too much energy, will shuttle that excess energy into muscles to create tension. In my book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy, I have a diagram that shows you exactly which organs connect to which regions of the spine, so you can see which muscles will get hyperactivated. And there's a lot of other things that are too technical to get into, but
I love it. Keep going. This is great.
Well, for example, whenever you've got inflammation in glands or organs from parasite infections or fungal infections or anything else, the body will reflexively inhibit the transverse abdominis and the pelvic floor and the deep multifidus, deep stabilizers of your spine. That's called the inner unit.
Yeah.
Because as your organs swell, just like when a woman's premenstrual, her uterus swells.
Yeah.
So her lower abdominal region distends. So there's a reflex inhibition of the deep abdominal wall to allow the uterus to expand, because if it didn't, it would restrict blood supply, which would restrict oxygen delivery, nutrition delivery, and waste removal. So a woman's menstrual cycle would last, ungodly periods of time, which would disrupt the natural cycle of reproduction. So the point being is, whenever you have inflammation in any of your organs, that organ swells. So the reflex systems of your body shut down the abdominal wall, which is why you actually see a lot of beer belly looking people out there, because their core is shut off. So if those people are going to gyms or working on construction sites, their back is naked. They have no
interesting.
They have no stability. The inner unit is what creates stability for your whole core, for your whole spine.
Yeah.
So when people have parasite infections, they're getting inflamed all the time from these organisms eating into you to lay their eggs. And that causes high levels of inflammation and swelling, which reflexively shuts off your core system, because the diaphragm, the transverse abdominis, the posterior fibers, deep fibers of the internal oblique, and the pelvic floor are all neurologically linked together, which is why, for example, if you just lift your testicles, you'll feel your belly button automatically go in, and it'll also fire your back stabilizers. If you pull your belly button, and it'll fire your pelvic floor, your diaphragm, and your spinal stabilizers, because they're all in a reflex loop. Otherwise, your spine could not handle the force generated by legs and arms swinging objects or even swinging themselves. For example, when a professional pitcher throws a baseball, on average, the rotator cuff has to generate 220 foot-pounds of compression to keep the pitcher's arm from flying right off of his body. Your arm weighs about 8% of your body weight, and a professional pitcher can throw a ball so fast that the arm's moving at 7,000 degrees a second. So to put that in perspective, if you made a 360-degree circle with your arm in 1 second, that's 360 degrees a second. So if you go 1,001, that's only 720. So a professional baseball professional pitcher throws a ball at 100 miles an hour, their arm's moving at 7,000 degrees a second. So you take the mass of the arm,
That's
calculate the
insane.
speed, the rotator cuff has to generate on average about 220 pounds of compression to keep the arm from just leaving the body and
Mhm.
ripping your ligaments apart. So, why that's relevant, if you've got liver parasites, which some of them are called liver flukes, and they're
Yeah.
very common. Ascaris worm goes right to the gallbladder very frequently. That will reflexively shut down your right shoulder because the liver sends its reflex distribution. It borrows its sensory nerve endings from the right shoulder and neck and right along the region
You're
of the liver.
literally blowing my mind right now.
So what happens is I've rehabbed tons of chronic rotator cuff injuries that doctors couldn't fix, even in
And it
professional
was
athletes.
parasites.
And it was a parasite infection or a dirty liver. And I had to rehab them from the inside to get their rotator cuff to turn back on again because it's being shut down. Now, why that is because remember I said the fuse box. So what happens is the body sends this low level of chronic stimulation. And the reason that muscles like the inner unit and the rotator cuff are attacked first is because they have a low threshold of stimulation. They have more oxidative fibers because stabilizer muscles have to do a lot of work. So they have more type 1 muscle fiber, which is oxidative. So they're the ones that do postural work and
100%.
stabilizing work. So because they have a lower threshold of stimulation, they're easy to turn on and they're oxidative so they can handle long-term work. But when you get chronic stimulation 24 hours a day because you got an infection inside, then they burn out.
Blowing the fuse.
So what happens is the muscles get so tired that then when the carpenter goes to swing his hammer, all of a sudden now he's got a labral tear or a rotator cuff tear because the muscles are too tired to coordinate complex movements, and the shoulder is a very, very complex joint. So the point I'm making is that a lot of people's musculoskeletal problems are actually the symptoms of internal problems like fungal infections, parasite infections, inflammation from toxins, mercury, aluminum, heavy metals, and on goes the
Which
list.
are everywhere.
Chemicals, plastics, PBCs. When I do an environmental toxicity test on people, it looks at about 175 different chemicals. Most people are just jacked through the nines.
100%.
And so you can't, for example, get an athlete's body to work if you haven't cleaned and restored the inner balance and taught them how. This is, I'm sure you've seen my book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. It shows you all of this stuff.
One of my first health books I ever purchased was Eat, Move, and Be Healthy.
Good one.
Mhm. It's the Bible of health, fitness, all of it.
Well, as you know, I put everything in there that I had to see every day. And I thought, why am I waiting till people come to me all
And it's
fucked
so
up
simple.
to
Yeah.
teach them this? I might as well just. So what I did is I took all the patient handouts I'd spent years making and I just strung them all together and explained what I have to say all day long, every day.
Yeah.
When people hire me, I say, have you read and applied my book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy for at least 6 months? If they say no, I say, you're going to pay me $750 an hour to sit at a beautiful glass table and I'm going to read you that book. So if that's how you want to spend your money, great. I got bills to pay too. But
Read the book.
you'd be a lot better off to read it and apply it honestly.
Yeah.
And the problem is most people won't do it because they have such rooted behaviors. And most of the time they're dealing with addictive behaviors that are the side effects of belief systems that are torturing them. And they don't know how to deal with the deeper issues. So they come to me and I
The
say,
madman.
now that you want to, get healthy, let's talk about what that really means. So we have to work from the top down and the bottom up.
Yeah. Which is why I'm here. I love working with you. Like we just said, I think it's been like 8 years now.
Yeah.
And I love sponsoring your podcast and all the people that I see in the comments.
I'm so grateful for that.
You're a wealth of knowledge, my friend.
Well, when you spend 41 years doing something, you're bound to learn something. But tell me about, what you've been doing. You're working with your business. Your business has gotten very big, that's for sure. You've certainly impacted a lot of lives. I love Organifi because it's really clean and great stuff. My kids love it. I can give it to anybody and feel good about it. And, I got My standards are if I won't eat it, I sure as hell am not going to share it with anybody.
Yeah. Only if everybody had that standard.
I'd be a very rich man if I didn't.
Yeah, you would. You'd have a lot more sponsors.
I'd have more sponsors than I could stack up on a podcast.
Exactly.
I'm turning shit away constantly. There was a time I had so much stuff sent to me. The table right over there by Penny's office was piled 3 feet high. And none of it was stuff that I could use or
Yeah.
wasn't certified organic. And
Most of it's not.
one day Penny said, "What do you want me to do with all this stuff?" I said, "Throw it in the garbage." A lot of it I wouldn't even give to people.
Yeah. You're not going to use it. Like, why would you sell it?
Yeah.
That's my philosophy.
So to have Organifi as a sponsor, all my sponsors, it took me time to find them or they found me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just amazing to be able to share companies with people like you guys that really put the time and energy and effort into providing people great products, because nobody knows better than you how hard that is to do today.
It's getting harder, I would say, with all the toxins. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, but 80,000 new toxins enter our environment every single year. And I'm the same as you. If I can't sleep at night soundly based on what I'm doing at work, it's like, why am I doing this in the first place?
Yeah.
I'm not in it for money. I'm
Yeah.
in it because when I, give Protect or the green juice to my baby girl, who's 2 now, I know that it's actually impacting her body in a beneficial way.
Mm-hmm.
My family, the people that I love. And that's why we continue to create the world's best products.
No question.
I'm excited for you to try our Parasite cleanse. I think you're going to love it.
Like I said, I'll wait till I have a parasite. That's another mistake people make. If you keep doing cleanse after cleanse, I've had lots of patients that have been doing cleanses
Addicted to
after cleanses.
Yeah.
It depletes your body
Mm-hmm.
because most of these things are designed to stimulate the liver or stimulate the kidneys. So depending on the kind of cleanse people are doing, they just wash all their nutrition out, and they often deplete themselves of minerals and trace
Yeah.
minerals. So I've actually had people I've had to have stop cleansing because they just were completely gutting themselves with cleanses. So point being is, which is another point to bring up, parasites have a life cycle that varies from parasite to parasite, but the longest life cycle of a parasite is 60 days. So what that means is the parasite will live for 60 days, and in that meantime, it's bearing larvae in your body. So if you don't go for at least 60 days on a parasite cleanse, what happens is you take the parasite cleanse for 3 weeks, let's say, you feel great, but then 2 or 3 days or a week later, all of a sudden your symptoms are back and you go like, what the hell's going on? Because all the larvae's hatching. So a parasite cleanse has to be done for a minimum of 60 days. So you have time to kill the ones that are active. And then when their eggs hatch, you kill them too.
100%.
Or you're going to just get reinfected and you're wasting parasite pills because you're not doing it effectively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I think cycling it for me has always worked. Like it's 10 days on, 10 days off, but get the eggs, nuke the eggs with clove or like other stuff. Papaya seeds work really well, just so you're killing the babies.
Yeah, I wouldn't personally cycle on and off like that. What I tell people is, if you're getting too much of a detox reaction, just back down, take a day or 2 off. But if you cycle off, the majority of the parasites have short life cycles, so they might only live for a week or 2.
Yeah.
But they can lay billions of eggs in your body. So if you cycle off, you can actually you can stop killing enough, and you can have a completely new cycle of bugs come in just 10 days.
So creepy.
So the deal is
60 days.
Stay committed, stay on. If you get too much of a reaction, back down enough to feel comfortable. But the number one thing is don't feed the enemy.
Yeah.
And that's,
The 4 white devils.
Well, anything that
Stress.
overeating, anything, even good
Yeah.
food is a bad idea. I've had parasite infections in people that were so bad, nothing would do the trick. And I had to put them on long fasts and starve the parasites out.
Yeah.
So that's the last move in the playbook is, if you have
Long
to,
fast.
you got to do a long fast with.
What's long?
It can be 7 days. If it's bad enough, I would have to send them to a fasting center to do like a 16 to 20 day fast.
Yeah.
But oftentimes these same people end up with cancer and serious diseases because the body's so broken down and debilitated. Same thing, the same lifestyle factors that facilitate parasites create diseases of all types. So chronic diseases. So, you know, almost all of this is diet and lifestyle and stress related.
I don't know if you've answered this yet, but and I know I'm on your show, but I would love to hear from you personally. Like, if somebody had a cancer diagnosis, what would Paul Chek do?
Well, the
For
first thing I would do is start cleaning them out, and I would get
Mhm.
their diet right. Um, one of the first things that has to go is any commercially raised meat because it concentrates meat animals are bioaccumulators. Takes about 6 pounds of vegetable matters to make a pound of beef. So when you're eating a pound
all
of
of
beef,
that
you're eating a lot of vegetables that are usually toxic and poisonous.
glyphosate.
So when people come to me with cancer, it depends on what stage it is and what type it is. I don't work on cancer patients alone. I immediately partner with Dr. Cliff Oliver, who's an expert at cancer. And so he manages all their labs, and I manage their diet and lifestyle and their mental, emotional factors. But most of these people have a lot of unresolved childhood development wounds, relationship wounds, belief system challenges. And most of them know very, very little about 4 doctors. So
Yeah.
I have to teach them 4 doctors. And then we have to start doing some real deep healing work, which requires a very, very comprehensive analysis of their entire life from in utero.
Mhm.
So I want to know about what was going on in their parents' lives while they're in utero, because that affects
You're
the,
going way back.
yeah, I have to. So it's typically about a 3-year process to do that kind of work with me. You can't rush it because it's too emotionally challenging for people to look at a lot of their traumas and deal with them. And, a lot of people have, 25 or 26 or more really deep wounds that haven't ever been addressed. So the cancer is really a symptom of
Of that.
a fatigued ability to adapt to internal stressors, largely which are operating from the unconscious.
Mhm.
So people are, walking around thinking they're just a normal person, but on the inside, they're dealing with a lot of neurosis. Jung said if it wasn't for neurosis, most people would commit suicide because the neurosis is the way the body's venting the stress of the unresolved pain
Mhm.
from sexual trauma, parental trauma, any number of traumas. Um, so if you don't go down in there, but the problem is that type of healing takes a lot of energy. So typically what I've got to do is I've got to start
Slow.
by having people master free energy. So I teach them Tai Chi, I teach them how to breathe, I teach them how to drink water and have high quality water and charge water, and how to prepare their sleep environment so it's optimal, and shut off Wi-Fi's and get away from phones. And in other words, I have to go for better quality of sleep, movement that the body can handle without being overloaded for the pumping and the beneficial energetic effects of the movement.
Mhm.
And then things like mindfulness practices and things that are easy to do that calm the mind, and getting the quality of the food as high as possible. Because if you don't have adequate energy to nourish the body will rarely ever let you go after the real deep wounds because it's already in a survival crisis. So the body's like, what are you doing worrying about your sexual trauma from when you were 6, when your liver's poisoned and you're dying? Don't invest time and energy there. You better get yourself healthy enough to do that. So that's why it usually takes me 3 years. It's often a year of coaching them on how to take care of a body. And then once they have the energy and the vitality to do the deeper healing, then we go after that. But if someone's like stage 3 or stage 4 cancer, sometimes I have to, full court press.
Yeah.
But those are great patients because if they want to live, they're good students.
Mhm.
If they don't want to live, then nobody can help them anyhow. You just make them comfortable while they get ready to transition.
I mean, I can imagine a world where you help people before it's that stage 3 or stage 4. I mean, taking a 17, 18-year-old and then running them through this 3-year course or whatever to, remove the trauma. I mean, how much better would our reality be?
That's why I've written
Yeah.
12
That's why
books.
you
That's
do what
why
you
I
do.
started an institute. That's why I have Holistic
Yeah.
Lifestyle Coach Level 1 online.
Yeah.
That's why I started Spirit Gym. That's why I
Yeah.
have 1,300 videos on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
Anybody can get themselves healthy. Many of my students have said to me, Paul, a huge amount of what you teach us in the academy is on YouTube for free. And I said, how long have you known that? They said, well, for years. And I said, how much have you actually done before you got here? Well, not that
Not too
much.
much.
So now that you've invested $15,000 in your education, you're taking yourself seriously. But when I put it out there for free, you didn't do a damn thing about it.
Damn.
So there you go.
Uh-huh.
I've been given free health information that anybody could use to
Isn't
heal
that
for my
so
whole career.
Wow. Powerful stuff, brother.
Millions of people are carrying parasites, and most don't even know it. In fact, the chances are good that you have one or more parasites inside you right now, leeching off your nutrients and strength. But before you get all freaked out about it, here is some good news. Organifi's Parasite Cleanse Kit contains a unique and specialized blend of carefully chosen natural elements that help locate, kill, and remove unwanted guests and pests from the body. Like a magnet finding iron in the sand, these ingredients adhere to the toxins and parasites and pull them out of hiding, ultimately removing them from your body. This two-step combination of 100% natural ingredients includes the Parasite Cleanse capsules and the Bind and Restore tincture, creating an easy-to-use cleanse that is perfect to help get rid of your unwanted guests. Now is a great time to try Organifi's Parasite Cleanse Kit and save 20%. Go to Organifi.com/Chek20 and use the promo code Chek20. That's Organifi.com/CHEK20 and use the code Chek20 for a 20% discount.
So how's fatherhood been now that we've talked about parasites, and I'm supposed to be interviewing you, but you're getting a lot of parasite information out of me.
Anytime I can sit with the great Paul Chek and just absorb any knowledge whatsoever.
Stack some rocks.
Yeah, exactly. Fatherhood's been great. It has been an initiation for sure.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's a real transition. Anyone that thinks they're a man doesn't know if they're a man until they got a child.
I was a man child until I had my own.
Not anymore.
Yeah. The responsibility is so beautiful, having this little sentient being, a girl too, especially something about having a baby girl.
Well, if you're a man, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
They will wrap you around your finger. Your journey's just beginning, man. I'm 4 years ahead of you with my girl, and she knows how to control the entire household.
I can't say no to her.
Yeah, it's hard.
Mama knows it.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And she's so empathic. She's so unconditional loving. I mean, I've cried more in the last 2 years of having this baby girl than I probably did my whole life.
Yeah, they do that to you for sure. I was telling you how when Mana was in the womb, my heart chakra just started opening wide up and it was tripping me out. I'm like, wow, it's like I'm on MDMA all day or something. I'm like, what is going on?
Same here. I remember watching my wife and I took a van trip, 30 days. We lived out of our van and we were watching this movie while she was pregnant called Spirit. It's about this horse that finds freedom. If you've never seen the Disney movie Spirit, it's one of the best.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
But I remember crying multiple times during this movie and I was just like, she's already working on me.
Yeah.
I heard her in the field before she came. Like she sounded like a little cherub just laughing, you know? And now she's here. It is, it's a journey, my friend. It is a journey.
Yeah. And women, as you know, go through quite a lot of stress, especially in the first year because of sleep deprivation. I don't know if you know this, but research shows that the average woman's brain shrinks 1 centimeter in size in the first year due to sleep deprivation. And the brain can't regenerate. And that's why they call it baby brain. They get grouchy and short tempered. You got to be ready to be a good servant to a woman with a child for the first year at least.
Yeah, we can't do that. I can't go more than 1 or 2 days of less than like 8 hours of sleep without becoming a man child.
No, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. It's like when I was in the Army, I was, as you know, a paratrooper, but if you go to Ranger School, which is another level of get ready to suffer, they only have to give you 1 hour of sleep a night. The average guy that I know lost 25 pounds in Ranger School, And it's not at all uncommon for them to hallucinate and start trying to use the branches of trees as phones to call their mother, or trying to put money into a tree to get a Coke out of it, or
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
So like straight up hallucinating.
Yeah, they're totally hallucinating, and while they're doing that, they have to do very technical battle maneuvers. So they're training them to have to stay very alert under extreme sleep deprivation and stress, because that's what a battlefield requires. So that's probably
What a mom's doing.
what a mom's going through, is a year of ranger school instead of 60 days.
I realized real quick that any argument, any emotional discord that we have, I have to just surrender. There's
Yeah,
no ego in Drew. It's not like
you
I'm
have
trying to
to.
push an agenda. And that's hard to do sometimes as
It
men.
is hard to do, but the child is absorbing and
Everything.
recording everything. So, if you want your daughter to grow up thinking men are a pain in the ass, then be a pain in the ass to mom.
Yeah. No, because emotionally she absorbs it. Like
Yeah.
if mom and I are in a dispute, I notice her energy can be a little
Mhm.
bit like, no, daddy. She starts to get it. She's only 2. She starts to feel it and like get upset. And I'm like, hey, like mom and I are good. We have to explain it to her, like what we're doing. We tell her we're working through stuff. Like
Mhm.
she's already in the conversation and
Yeah.
she's 2, just bringing her in on it.
Yeah. Well, my first marriage taught me, if you're going to be a dad again, have 2 wives so they can support each other. And having 2 wives is miraculous,
Yeah.
because women are much more empathetic to each other's needs because they understand a woman.
100%.
And so that allowed me to stay in the groove of doing what I've got to do to, keep businesses running and take care of things. But Penny and Angie support each other like a team of Navy SEALs, and
I see it.
the kids
I
get
mean, every
so
time
much,
I'm over here.
they get so much more love and attention and affection.
Oh, okay, so question for Paul Chek. For us common folk that
Mm.
don't have 2 wives,
Yeah.
what can we encourage our women to do?
To create a tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to deal with so many burned out single mothers. It's a real disaster out there. And, they're often in phase 3 adrenal exhaustion, going into hypothyroidism. Some of them have hypothyroidism, which, really is stressful for a woman, because once you start going hypothyroid, you gain a lot of weight. Your brain gets
start
very
losing
lethargic
hair,
and dull. You can
skin
lose
looks
your
bad, yeah.
eyebrows. You can lose your fingernails if it gets bad enough. But when I start working with them and saying, look, we got to look at the way you're living, and you need time to, do what you need. You got to have some time for yourself. You got to, get a massage. You got to get to the gym. You got to
Yeah.
walk. You got to do something. And it's like, I can't. I get up early in the morning. I
I'm
got to
with
get
the kid
ready.
all
I got to
day.
get the kids taken care of. I got to get ready for the babysitter. I got to go. I come home. I got no time. And I said, well, look, we have to work on building a tribe, because there's a lot of women like you. So I say, what would happen if you had 3 other women all in the same boat, and on Monday you took your kid to Sally's place and she watches the 2 kids or the 3 kids? Well, you go get some aerobics in, or go for a nice walk, or get whatever you need to give yourself so you're not
Yeah.
burning out. And then on Tuesday, the 2 of you take your kids to Jane's house, and then the other mom gets to go have a break. And so this is why they say it takes a tribe to raise a child, and it's deadly true.
Yeah, move into a compound together.
You don't have to do that. I mean, you can be realistic. I've helped many people do it. It's just a
Uh-huh.
matter of looking. Most people are so enculturated into the treadmill of the industrial complex
God.
that we live on, they don't even know how to think in a tribal way. But
Mhm.
for me, having 2 wives has nothing to do with any religious ideology. It was me being clear on a couple of things. One, and I'm just not built for monogamy, and I don't want to have to lie or cheat or conceal, because
Yeah.
it just makes me feel like I'm dying inside. I mean, if you love someone and you can't be honest with them, then you got to really look in your dictionary and see what the word love means.
Mhm.
And so I just promised myself I wasn't ever going to be in a committed relationship where I was confined to one partner.
Yeah.
And so I just asked Great Spirit for help, and I found Penny, and she was fine with it. Penny said, you can have all the wives you want as long as they cook, clean, contribute to the bottom line, and do not talk too much. And
I love Penny. Oh my
you know,
God.
so it just so happened that I met Angie, and Great Spirit had plans for us, and her and Penny got along, and she was smart enough and hardworking enough and a great enough contributor to the family that Penny respected her enough to say, okay, I will agree to this. And that was almost 14 years ago now, and neither of us would ever go back. And the kids are the big winners.
Yeah. It's just more love, more of the
It's
village.
more love, more support, more connections, more intelligence to be shared.
Yeah.
I mean,
You've hacked the system, my friend.
yeah.
You figured it out.
The thing is the women have to have respect for each other, because women that don't like each other are far worse to women than men that don't like each other.
Oh yeah.
A man will just punch you in the face and walk
And
away.
we'll be over it.
Women will be weaving webs of pain and deception for years to come.
Yeah.
Women are like black widows. Don't mess with them.
So in 14 years, how many fights have they been in?
0.
Yeah.
No fights.
That's remarkable.
They know when to back down because they respect each other. I mean, between the two of them, they probably have 8 degrees or more, and Penny's a pilot. So
That's, yeah, superpowers, like the Avengers coming together in real life.
I think the key thing is you have to have a mission, vision, and values that are bigger than you as a person. So for all of us, our mission and vision is the Chek Institute, the podcast, and my Spirit Gym program, because that's what we collectively give to the world.
Yeah.
So if petty squabbles get in the way of what we're really here to share with the world, then our ego needs to be looked at, because we're too I-oriented. That's why they say there is no I in we. If you're married, the I is what kills relationships, because people they're still too caught in the child archetype, too self-centered, needy to be
You
in
fight like attorneys versus consciousness.
Exactly. So the key thing is, if there's not a dream, like I do a lot of relationship counseling, because a lot of people's relationships are what's causing their illnesses. And I say,
Isn't that, it's so remarkable to look at that.
you have to get clear on what your I values are, so you know who you are as a person, but then you've got to get together and say, what is it that we live for?
Yeah, principles.
What are we sharing together? And then you have to say, what are my all values? What is it that our family gives to the world? Like your family gives Organifi to the world. That's a big gift, right?
Yeah.
So if your we relationship gets in the way of your all, then we have to say, okay, what's the problem with the we? It's always an I problem. It means somebody's not getting their needs met. And if those needs are not clearly stated in the beginning, then you're going to have a rough ride if you're in a committed relationship.
Yeah, especially when kids start entering it.
Oh, absolutely. Because, as Carl Jung said, all children are tasked with the unfinished business of their parents' lives. So if mom and dad don't know how to manage money, the kids will have to learn the hard way. If they don't know how to manage alcohol and drugs, the kids will learn the hard way. If they don't know how to manage sex, the kids will learn the hard way.
That is such a good quote, man.
Whatever mom and dad haven't learned to manage.
Can you say that again?
All children are tasked with the unfinished business of their parents' lives, and it's dead true.
Wow.
So, being in a committed relationship, you don't need a temple, a synagogue, or a church.
That's it.
You got plenty of God right there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to synagogues, temples, and churches, and you can't get along with the person you say you love, then you're in the wrong religion.
I have a lot of friends. I lived in Sedona for a while, and all of them are like, I'm not in a relationship. 50, 55, 60-year-old men, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I'm just going to go meditate for a week. And every time I see them, they're like, I up-leveled.
Yeah.
There's this new version of me. Wait till some of them are healers. Wait till I lay my hands on you. It's like this new language that I'm picking up. And I'm like, I remember you being in a relationship for like 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're out of a relationship.
Yeah.
It's like, that is the dojo. You know?
It is the dojo. I tell athletes all the time, I don't care if you can squat 1,000 pounds. If you can't get along with your wife and kids, it means you're spending time in the wrong gym, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
So point being is, people think that what I do is unconventional, but what I do is being honest with my needs. And until you're clear about what your needs are, and what your values are, you can never harmonize or
Yeah.
know where to go look for people that share your values.
That's
know?
so good for me to hear because I obviously Organifi is my mission, vision, purpose. Fit Life TV before that. I've invested so much time, over a decade into this, helping people heal millions of people. But when that baby girl was born, it's like there's a part of me that wants to spend every waking minute with her.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing to have.
Yeah, but also I feel like it's not that I'm not, working. I am, but I'm 2-3 hours a day is like super focused, and then the
Mhm.
rest of it's with her.
Mhm.
It's like I wonder if there's more I could be doing towards the mission, vision, and purpose if you know what I'm saying? And I
I
don't want to have
do, but
FOMO.
the thing is if your business is well run and
That's true too.
everybody's taken care of, then
Yeah.
spend 3 hours a day,
Yeah.
My challenge has always been that I am so deeply passionate about
Yeah. Obsessed, which is
not obsessed, but if I was obsessed, I would be avoiding responsibilities. That's an obsession.
I mean in a good way.
Well, it's I know what I'm here to do, and I
Yeah.
know why my soul's here, and I know what I'm here to learn. And so for me, it's very important to me as a man to have partners that understand who I am as a person.
Yeah.
Like the only reason I'm an interesting conversation to you about parasites and all this stuff, because I spent my life focusing on learning what I
Digging
had to learn
deep.
to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And people are very complicated. To understand people, you got to understand nature, you got to understand philosophy, you got to understand religion, psychology, physiology. On goes the list. I mean, you're sitting next to 5,000 books here, and I've probably read at least 2,500 of them. And I've devoted myself. That takes time and commitment. And if I'm too tied up with a lot of daddy work,
Yeah.
I can't be Paul Chek.
Mm-hmm.
Some people would completely disagree with that, but that's called being honest with who you are. So I figured out early, if you have two women that get along with each other, that
Mm-hmm.
can support each other and doing the things that a woman's more inclined to do, and I can do what I do to create the home and the environment that gives them the ability
do
to
that.
thrive, and the kids
Yeah.
have a farm, and they've got land, and they've got learning opportunities and piano lessons and
All the stuff.
and the thing that lets the soul find its own path in life. Not that I don't spend time with my kids, I do, but my point is that the soul of Paul Chek is not one that has this burning urge like you talk about to go hang out with kids all day.
Yeah.
I love to come home from work at night and hang out with the kids and play some games, kiss them goodnight, and take Mon out and shoot the pellet gun and take the kids out and race around the
Adventure
property
dad.
and go-karts.
Which is what dads do. That's what we're for.
I now if a man has that natural ability, congratulations, go for it. But if that gets in the way of your being a provider, then now you're right up against a problem, because there's 4 things all parents have to do: clean, feed, nurture, and protect. And when it comes to cleaning and feeding, women are better at it.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to nurturing, for the first 7 to 12 years, they're better at it.
Yeah.
When it comes to protecting and providing, so there's something to feed and clean with,
We're better at that.
we're better at that. And if a man doesn't do that well, then all the hanging out with kids while you're in financial stress and the bottom's falling out isn't a healthy environment.
Yeah,
and that's just
exactly.
more unmet tasks for the kids to figure out.
And resentment from mom and dad and all the other stuff.
It's just a shit show.
Cascades.
It's a
Yeah.
shit show. It's just, I've worked with thousands of people, and I've seen from the inside out, first and foremost, how religious ideologies that aren't coherent with the realities of life destroy families.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It's reality.
I love your take on all this.
Hello, everybody. I sure hope you're enjoying the podcast as much as I am. I got something really cool to share with you. I think all of you know I'm not a biohacking type guy at all. I'm a bioharmonizer. Not too long ago, my buddy Aubrey Marcus turned me on to something really cool called Correct Fuel, and it's a great way to enhance your workout, support your metabolism, and just get more out of everything that you're doing. And not only that, for a product with ketone metabolites in it, it tastes damn good, which is hard to do. I'm super excited about it, and I really love knowing that I can take something that's good for me and good for my body and will help me lift bigger stones and have a better workout and show the young man how to do it. So, Aubrey, congratulations on such an amazing product. What would you like to share with the audience just so they know more about how it works and anything specific you think is important to share?
Competitive athletics has been a part of my life since I was a kid. And there's certain things that we deplete ourselves of when we're sweating, when we're out in the sun. For me, it's pickleball or basketball or volleyball, beach volleyball. So I wanted to start with an electrolyte mix that I really felt captured the main electrolytes like you would get in a normal electrolyte packet: magnesium, potassium, calcium. Replenish your body with that. But I know that that's not enough. I wanted to have all of the trace minerals that come from sea salt. We actually took an extract called aquamin, which comes from the sea. So we're getting all of those trace minerals as well as those core electrolytes. And then adding those exogenous ketones, the GoBHB, that actually give you the ketone energy, which is the second fuel source for the body. So it increases your mental clarity and acuity, especially for, athletic sports where you're paying attention. That's super important to have that kind of mental clarity, as well as physical energy that you get. And to round this all out, we found an extract actually from, green beans that actually increases the body's ability to burn our own fat as fuel. So while this isn't designed for anything for weight loss, it's designed to maximize energy. But like, what if we could put all this together, make it taste great, and then allow people to actually push as hard as they want to push, whether that's athletically or whether that's just restoring your body after you've sweat through the night and lost.
Or cleaning your house.
Clean your damn house. Make your damn bed.
Yeah. Well, I love it. It's awesome. And, I'm very shy, as you know, about anything biohack-like. And I really say you've done a great job with Correct Energy and Correct Fuel of bioharmonizing. So I tip my hat to you, brother. And for any of you that wants to try Correct Fuel, go to korrectlife.com/Spirit Gym. Get 15% off your first order. And while you're there, check out Correct Energy too. Aho, great spirit. Thanks, Aubrey.
You're welcome.
A lot of people don't know what reality is. I've got at least a dozen books on realities written by philosophers and deep thinkers and scientists, and none of them can agree. But I'm like, okay, guys, it's not that hard.
Yeah,
Would you like me to share what my vision of reality is?
totally.
Reality is what's happening right now. That's inescapable. And reality is everything it takes to support your ability to live. And if your video games and
Are interrupting you.
headsets and television shows and social media and whatever it is stopping you from taking care of what it is that supports your ability to live, you're in deep trouble. And so where are we at right now? We're at a planet with all the water poisoned, with the soil disappearing, full of chemicals. 96% of all the food eaten in the world is commercially grown, which means it's highly toxic.
Yeah.
And people say they can't afford to buy good food because they're spending too much money on silly shit like fancy cars and clothes and iPhones that they don't need.
Yeah.
So that's when you're out of touch with reality. That's why I did a podcast called The Danger of Living in Two Realities, where I showed what happens if you get caught in the digital world. You lose touch with what supports your life. And that's the beginning of the end.
Wow. That's what they want.
Well, there's always a they that want that. History is, all you got to do is study history. There's been emperors and kings.
Keep them
and
entertained.
Keep people that are constantly at battle. I mean, the world is a schoolyard for souls. It's a place where we come to learn to manage polarities. So if you ever think the world's going to be a Garden of Eden that's full of bliss, then you're fantasizing and smoking too much pot.
You're in the wrong place.
Yeah, that's why I
Contrast.
call this spirit gym. We're in a spirit gym.
Yeah, I love that. We came to understand energy, polarity,
Yeah,
all the inner workings of it.
yeah. One of the things that you do a lot of work with that I love is you do a lot of work with superfoods, and
Yeah.
I think in this environment that we're in, I mean, unfortunately, even a lot of the foods that are labeled organic, that's all been hijacked. You and I have talked about that before, but a lot of people that are going and getting store-bought organic instead of going to the farmers markets, for example, are still getting food that has fairly low nutritional value compared to what they would have gotten 50 years ago.
100%.
So if superfoods are organically grown and they're the real deal, you can really you can do a lot for your nutrient reserves and your ability to detoxify your body and heal your bodies. So I think, I'm not a pill guy, but I love your green juice because that's quick and easy to use. I mean, all your products are great stuff. But, for me, just to give you an example, I use turmeric every day just to support my body. Turmeric's also a great anti-parasitic. Same with ginger, same with garlic. There's some real natural anti-parasitics that people should be using regularly. I take chlorella.
How much curcumin / turmeric do you take a day?
I take 3 capsules, so I don't know what that would be.
It's a great photosensitizer too.
Yeah,
We talked about sun gazing earlier.
yeah,
So it helps you absorb more light,
yeah. That's
which we need.
important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyhow, I don't take a lot of stuff because I eat really good and I've got a very deep relationship with my body and my instincts. So, for example, I can feel when I need more shilajit minerals in my body. I can feel when I need to use more electrolytes. There's
soul knows.
little symptoms that come up that, like if you start getting any kind of muscle cramping or fasciculating muscle spasms, like little waves in the muscles where they twitch for a little bit.
For sure.
That's commonly an electrolyte imbalance. And so because I sauna every day, I make a habit of taking electrolytes every day.
Potassium, cream of tartar is good for that too.
Yeah, I mean,
Good for the adrenals.
there's a billion different electrolytes out there. Do you guys sell an electrolyte formula? I don't remember.
Pure has electrolytes in it. Glow has electrolytes in it, but we don't have a specific electrolyte. Not yet. We are coming to market with one soon.
Yeah.
But I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Oh, well, you didn't talk about it, so don't tell anybody, but get ready.
Don't listen.
What else? And I use shilajit in my tea every day. I use spiragic cilantro.
What's interesting with the shilajit, you talked about it earlier, but because we store toxins in our fat, people are sending in weight loss testimonials from just taking shilajit.
Of course, it's turning on their detox pathways.
Lymphatic, flushes it out, minerals grab it, bind it, humic and fulvic acid. It's so good for that.
And minerals and trace minerals are hormone system regulators. So as soon as you start getting low on minerals and trace minerals, your hormone regulation gets disrupted and all hell starts to break loose.
Yeah.
I mean, the list of things that minerals and trace minerals do is, books are written about that.
I get guys messaging me. They're like, I went to my doctor and I was taking the shilajit gummies for 60 days and my testosterone went up 300 points. I'm like, dude.
Part of that is because it's helping them detox.
Minerals. Yeah. Detox and minerals.
Yeah.
Hormones.
Yeah. Your shilajit gummies. I tell people all the time, shilajit usually tastes like rotten rocks, but somehow you manage to make it taste good.
Kind of like a vanilla cinnamon flavor. It's so good. I love those. I take them every day.
I think they're fantastic. The kids love them, but as I say on my Organifi shilajit gummy ads, don't buy one bag because it'll be gone before you even know it. Because the first time I opened a bag of that and said, anyone want to try these? Literally within 20 minutes, the bag was empty.
No way.
Yeah.
Who loves them the most?
I wouldn't say anyone loves them the most. I say if they're around and they can be seen, they're eaten. Yeah. I had a bunch of friends around when I happened to open the first bag. I don't know. I had an event.
I think Wade was here because then he
yes. Well, I gave Wade some. Yeah. That wasn't the first time, but when I told Wade about him and let him try them,
yeah, he loved them.
He loved them so much. He said, "Can I take some with me?" So I think I just gave him a bag of them and said, "Well, shit, talk to Drew. He's the man."
Yeah, I sent him a bunch.
Yeah,
love that guy.
Yeah. So, but the point is, I'm actually oriented towards whole food. Like I take a seed that's really nothing but acerola cherry.
which is great.
Yeah. And so I don't want ascorbic acid. I want something
Yeah.
that's alive.
You absorb
And-
it.
and
50
real.
times the vitamin C is like normal, whatever they sell in the store.
Yeah.
It's food value.
So my point is that I don't take a lot of pills because I eat really good food and I listen to my body. And if my body is craving spinach, I know there's a reason why. If it's craving, you know, fish,
Yeah.
salmon, or whatever, I know there's a reason why. I think most people would just, the first thing you got to do is you got to eat a wide enough variety of foods to have a record of what the feel, the taste, and the experience of that food is.
And the etheric
Yeah,
energy.
well, that's too deep for most people. But the point I'm making is if you pay attention to what happens when you eat salmon versus a white fish, there's a distinct difference because the fat is so much richer in the
Hydration.
salmon. Like I don't do well with a white fish.
Yeah.
My body, I can get full and be hungry in 20 minutes, but
Me
I'm
too.
so full I can't eat. I'm like, I can't eat this stuff. It's just not have enough fat for me.
Mm-hmm.
So there you start to have a language of what your DNA needs, what your body needs, and as you know, your food and biochemistry needs change day to day, meal to meal, argument to argument, weightlifting session to weightlifting
True
session.
story.
So if you're on any kind of a diet, you're killing yourself already. You've got to just really develop a palate. So with our kids, we expose them to everything. Our kids, like every now and then, will the squirrels are we have a massive squirrel issue here because they love all of
I
our
saw a bunch of 'em.
fruit and orchards and
eat everything.
greenhouse. They'll rape the whole
Mhm.
orchard. So quite often the dogs catch them and kill them, but they won't eat them for some reason. So we'll bring them in and cook them up, and they're really quite tasty.
The squirrels.
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
they taste great. But because Freddie, our gardener and
Skins 'em.
handyman, he's a Mexican guy, and he knows all about these unusual foods, and he knows how to cook them all.
I'd love to try that sometime.
We've even eaten rattlesnakes we had to kill because they were too close to the house. Or
I love that you're eating snakes. We have tons of rattlesnakes on our property too.
my rule is if you're going to kill it, you got to eat
Yeah.
it. And I told Freddie that when I moved in here. I said, look, because he was just killing them because he doesn't like them. He's a gardener, but
Yeah.
I said, if you're going to kill it, you got to eat it. He goes, no problem. So we've cooked up the rattlesnake, I don't know, 3 times now. But the point is, like, when we cook the first squirrel up, I know the eyes are very, very nutritious. So I said to the kids, does anyone want to try the eyes of the squirrel? They were arguing over who's going to get the eyes. And they love them. And, like most kids haven't had brain, which is
Yeah.
dangerous unless it's a healthy animal. You wouldn't want to give a kid, anybody a brain out of an animal that was not
Yeah.
raised in the wild, because it could be very toxic because of the body putting toxins into fat. But the kids have a very, very wide palate. So if you develop a wide palate, you have a library of inner experience, and your body knows what nutrients are in each of those foods. But the average person worldwide only eats 10 to 12 foods their entire lifetime based on research.
Which is crazy to me.
There's like 350,000 edible plants and something like 1 million edible animal
And
species.
the average is like 7 to 12,
And that's 10 to 12.
10 to 12.
And interestingly, another research study said the average person, when tested, only knew 10 to 12 exercises, which blew my mind. So think of that.
Wow. I didn't know that one.
8% of men and only 3% of women, based on research by Michael Mogadun, do any regularly scheduled exercise, including walking a dog.
8%.
So 8% of men and 3% of women. So when you are out on the weekend and you see people playing tennis and guys and gals riding their bicycles, it can look like, wow, this is a town with a lot of fitness enthusiasts. But if you say, okay, San Diego's got 3 million people and you're seeing all of them, then it changes your perspective.
Yeah. My perspective has always changed because I live in San Diego.
Mhm.
Everybody works out. But if you go to the Midwest or you fly anywhere, like when I go back to Michigan, it's so fascinating watching people in airports.
Oh, they can barely get in out of the chairs.
You don't see people like that where we are, you know?
No, it's rare.
That's bizarre.
A lot of it has to do with the sunlight, I think.
Oh, 100%.
You see, because when the sun's out, people get hot and they want to expose their bodies to cool down.
Yeah.
So people usually have more body consciousness in sunny regions of the world because they know they're going to want to not have so much clothes on.
Mhm.
It's the time of year when many of us refocus and recommit to lose weight, improve our fitness, and in general set new health goals for the coming year. The problem is that typically these resolutions don't last beyond the end of the month. And that's not because people lack information. Most people know what to do, but they struggle because they've become disconnected from their body's wisdom and from their own inner voice. And that's why Paul created Holistic Lifestyle Coach Level 1. Yes, you'll learn the fundamentals of breathing, eating, moving, sleeping, drinking, and thinking. These are the 6 Chek Foundation principles, which are guided by the 4 doctors, Dr. Quiet, Dr. Diet, Dr. Movement, and Dr. Happiness. But more importantly, HLC1 is not just another course or program. It's a powerful immersion to help you get in harmony with your unique design. It's practical, it's experiential, and it's deeply transformational. So join us this March at the Rainbow House in Southern California for 3 days led by Angie Chek. If you're a coach, a practitioner, or someone simply ready to take ownership of your life and your health, this is your next step. Spaces are limited as we keep the group small so everyone gets personal attention. Visit paul.chekinstitute.com for more details and to claim your seat. That's paul.chekinstitute.com to sign up for Holistic Lifestyle Coach Level 1.
Tell me about all this cool stuff you're making.
Well, one of my through lines right now that's changed the game for me is sun gazing every morning.
I love sun gazing.
Yeah, it's changed my life.
Yeah, as I told you when we were lifting rocks, my soul had me commit to it for 1 year, 1 hour at sunrise, 1 hour at sunset.
Which is an incredibly long time. Like I wouldn't recommend anybody doing that to
Oh,
start.
It's safe to do.
You think so? An
Oh,
hour?
absolutely.
I read like 15, 20 minutes.
Nah, not at all.
Longer.
No, won't hurt you at all.
It's not going to hurt your eyes.
No,
in fact,
because
it'll restore your eyes,
the
right?
atmosphere is so thick in the first hour. That's why it has to be the first hour of sunlight. Right when the sun comes up and right in the last hour of sunlight, which you can look on your phone, it tells you when sunset is. Any weather app tells you that anywhere. So the atmosphere gets so thick at that time due to the condensation of water molecules and other factors that the sunlight is not threatening to your eyes at all. I've never had a zero problem. I don't know anyone that's had a problem.
Me neither.
Doing that. And like I was saying, there's what's called X-factored light produced at that time, which has a lot of spiritual benefits to the body, healing benefits to the body. But I had, well, I'll tell you a short story since
I
you're
wanted
asking.
to hear this because you didn't tell me this earlier.
Well, I wanted to save it for the podcast because 1, I didn't want to have to tell it twice in a row, and 2, it would be more interesting for you to hear.
Yeah, and I want to anchor the point of foods are nutrients, just like the sun is nutrients.
Totally.
And many of these foods actually help you absorb the light even more, from what I've noticed.
Absolutely. And everything in the created universe is energy, information, and frequency. So just the way a musician uses a keyboard that has 7.5 octaves to be able to play a wide variety of musical notes, to give us a wide variety of experiences, every single thing you eat, you could just say is like a key on a keyboard.
Love it.
And so, if you get down into your fatty, heavier meats, like the fatty cuts of beef, then you're on the left side of the keyboard.
Yeah.
But if you're eating
Sprouts,
blueberries, you're way up high on the right side of the keyboard. And this is why I say if you got to learn to listen to what your body's telling you, because it's making your instincts make you attracted to frequencies and energies. And so when you look at the fact that food is living information, then the body tells you what information it needs to repair and to restore and to grow, right? And so this is why, for example, when we get sick, we crave certain things that like, for example, I can't eat yogurt because I can't handle dairy. I've got a genetic allergy to beef.
What about kefir?
I can't
Same
do
thing.
any of it. The only thing I can do is butter because there's almost zero protein in butter, very little
Interesting.
protein. The immune system's more reactive to protein than anything because there's no such thing as an organism made of fat or carbohydrate that'll kill you, but the things that kill you are protein based. But I've had times, for example, once I was lecturing in Tahiti and I ate the fish there and I got a severe uh, parasite infection and dysbiosis, and I damn near shit my colon right out of my body. I was on the toilet all night long. My legs were going numb. I was like in so much pain. I said to
I
Penny, I don't
lost
know if
like
I
12
should.
pounds
Oh,
in a
I
night.
was a scarecrow. I said to Penny, I don't know if I should go to the hospital. I've never experienced this much pain in my life. It literally felt like something was eating me from the inside
I had
out.
some nasty oysters once like that.
Yeah, I just was eating the food that was being served at the resort we were staying at. This is probably 20 plus years ago. But the point is, my body craved yogurt and rice, and that was the only thing it wanted.
Wow.
For some reason, it needed whatever was in yogurt and rice. Now, yogurt has a lot of healing properties for the gut. If you eat, as a side note, if you have a parasite infection, one of the homemade cures you can do is you can take a cup of uncooked whole grain rice and chew it. And you just chew it a little bit, what you can handle at a time, and you grind it up in your mouth and swallow it. Turns out that the fiber actually cuts the bodies of worm parasites out. Yeah, just
No.
like diatomaceous earth will do.
So just raw rice.
Yeah, and you just chew it and swallow it and just chase it with some water. You can learn about that in the book Healing with Whole Foods by Paul Pitchford, which is something everyone should have in their resource library.
I think I had that.
It's a great book. It's very comprehensive. But anyhow, the point I'm making is that my body does not do well with rice at all, nor does it do well with yogurt. But when I was in that situation, my body knew exactly what it wanted, and it told me,
And you did it.
get it.
Mhm.
And I was able to heal, and I didn't miss work. I was there to teach.
Get out of here.
So I literally spent the whole night on the toilet, and by midday the next day, I had to go teach. And if it wasn't for that rice and yogurt, I would not have had the energy to
Interesting.
kind of step up to the game
Wow.
and go function, And
What a beautiful example of the healing power and the intuition of the body.
yeah, that's why we have to be in touch with our instincts.
Mm-hmm.
And most people are so dangerously out of touch with their instincts, it's costing them their life. And it's making the medical system filthy, stinking rich.
100%. People are numb. There's too much noise. There's too much static. So
Yeah.
then they're just blind.
Yeah. So, what we're both saying, and this is what I love about a lot of your products. They got a lot of ingredients in them. Like how many items are there in your green juice?
11.
11.
With a clinical dose of ashwagandha, which
Okay, so
nobody has.
There's already right there in one serving as much different foods as most people eat for their entire lifetime.
So-
But most of what's in there, most people are probably not eating at all.
No. Moringa, come on, the tree
Yeah.
of immortality.
Yeah, I drink moringa tea regularly because
Mhm.
it's well known to be an anti-aging and a strengthening.
Anti-cancer. Like
Yeah, it's great stuff.
incredible for you.
Tulsi moringa is one of my favorite teas.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when you look at the variety of ingredients and the reishi mushrooms and all the things you put in your products, those are things most people wouldn't otherwise eat.
Ever.
And those things have superfood healing properties and powers. And every molecule is an antenna for cosmic energy and light. What do you do if you want to change the frequency? Remember back, I don't know if you're too young to know this, but when I was a kid, there was no cable. So if you watched television, you had to have an aerial.
Yeah, though the bunny ears, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so as the weather would change, you'd have to get up because the TV would go fuzzy and you have
Yeah.
to change the position of
I
the
remember
aerials
that.
or make one longer or shorter. Same with a radio. Okay, so what did you do? You just changed the shape of the aerial, which changes the signal reception. So if you then looked at food as geometry and said, okay, just look at a head of cauliflower or broccoli, there's a geometrical pattern in it. Every single cell of a food has a geometrical pattern, which acts as a cosmic antenna for light and frequency.
You're blowing my mind again.
So when you're eating foods, you're eating a type of light and frequencies of light that have not only been packed in, but are used by the DNA to produce the various enzymes and nutrient elements
That's
that
absolutely
plant
wild
collects.
to think about that.
Well, look, if you want to take it one step further, What is yoga?
It's reaching upward towards God, right?
It's a science
yeah.
that the physical end of it is based on key postures.
Yeah.
Every one of those postures changes the shape of the antenna, which changes the frequency, which changes the chakra, of which gets the maximum energy flow, which changes the glands, organs, and tissues that are being nourished. So yoga as a science is a series of postures that can be used to heal diseases, because if you know which postures work with which glands, organs, and tissues, you can use those postures to channel the energy into your body that the system needs.
Come on.
That's exactly what traditional Chinese medicine's been teaching for thousands of years
Yeah.
as well. That's why I have zone exercises and how to eat, move, and be healthy to teach you which exercises to use
Yeah.
for which regions of
And
your
you've
body.
been doing Tai Chi forever.
A long, long time. I did Tai Chi daily for 19 years before I took a break and started practicing other methods.
That'll change your life.
And I was doing a lot of things while I was doing Tai Chi, like sun gazing.
Yeah.
But anyhow, back to the sun gazing story, right?
Yeah.
I would imagine it was about a month. And I remember it like yesterday. This is probably, I don't know, I was probably 45 at the time. So almost 20 years ago.
So similar age as me.
Yeah, I was outside. It was early in the morning. I drove to work so I could be at work right after I did my sun gazing and go in and do the rest of my spiritual practices, have an espresso and kind of warm up for my day. And I was just in a relaxed state. And it had been happening for a few days, but I wasn't sure what was going on. I had the feeling that a man was looking at me.
I got chills.
And I kept seeing a face and feeling like, you know, when someone's looking at you and you turn and they're looking at you,
Yeah.
the feeling of being looked at or stared at.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so all of a sudden, I said to my soul, I said, I keep feeling like a man is looking at me. What am I just imagining this? My soul said, relax and open yourself to what's in the light coming from the sun. And I'm clairvoyant, so I know how to do that. And all of a sudden, there was a man standing there, beautiful black man, wearing these, handmade Rastafarian, like, you know, the jacket you were wearing when you came here?
Yeah.
Imagine that hand woven with
Mhm.
beautiful patterns in it, beautiful necklaces, almost Christ-like figure.
Oh, yeah.
Mustache, gorgeous, beautiful eyes. And he was coming from the center of the sun. And he was holographically projecting himself in the light.
Oh, my God.
And I said, I directed my attention to him and I said, can you see me? He said, yes, Paul, I do see you. I said, you know my name? He said, yes. I said, who are you? He said, I am the spirit of the sun. I said, you are the consciousness of the sun? He said, yes, I am the spirit of the sun. I'm the consciousness of the sun. I said, what is your name? My name is Umbakara. I said, oh,
Umbakara.
wow.
Beautiful name.
And I thought, well, that's cool. He said, sometimes people call me Agni, the god of fire.
Yeah.
And so I began a conversation with him that went on for the rest of my year. And now I talk to him regularly because he is the father of life on this earth and in the entire solar system. And he is the maintainer of the logos, which is the plan, the blueprint, the matrix within which our solar system exists. People forget that every planet in our solar system is within the heliosphere of the sun's body. So Earth is to the sun like your liver is to you.
Mm-hmm.
This body of the sun is its heliosphere, not its burning ball of gas. That's just the physical aspect of the sun, but there's an astral aspect of the sun. There is a plasma sphere. There is a spiritual dimension that's even beyond that.
Yeah.
And so Umbakara is the intelligence of the being that the sun is its body. And so I learned all sorts of stuff. And you saw the mandala that I painted that
Yeah.
came to me while I was doing sun gazing. So I used that as my gateway to prayer to the sun early in the morning before the sun's up. But after that happened, I said to my soul, are there any books in my library that explain what Umbakara means? And my soul said, yes. Would you like to see? And it led me right to a 2-volume set on theosophy, which had a comprehensive glossary. And in it, in bold letters, was Umbakara, spirit of the sun.
No, come on.
And I about shit myself.
Yeah.
It made my hair stand on end, and I've had countless experiences. That's how I know the spiritual world is real,
Yeah.
So the point of not only the health benefits and the circadian rhythm balancing benefits,
Psychic
and all the other things, and I've taught many of my students in Spirit Gym to do this. I actually teach them how to do this with any stellar body.
Yeah.
And then I talk to them about their experiences, and lots of them come back and say, oh my God, you won't believe what I experienced. And sometimes the spirit of the sun will show up to them as a woman, but it seems that what I call Umbakara knows what you need, and it will manifest to you in a way that you can relate to.
Wow.
Now, why he manifested to me as a Jamaican looking black man, I don't know, but I just think that was phenomenal.
Beautiful experience.
And it didn't matter what color he was to me,
Yeah,
because all you
100%.
had to do was look in his eyes and it was over. You were looking into the eyes of a being of a wisdom and a depth that you'd be lucky if you could ever encounter in a lifetime.
Wow.
It would be like if who we call Jesus actually stood before you. It was that kind of an experience. And it is every time I go there.
Uh-huh.
And the thing that's so cool about it is this wasn't like meeting the CEO of a large company like Elon Musk, where, people get all excited because he's famous. This is like meeting your real father.
Oh, God.
This is like somebody that looks at you and looks through every atom of your being with a love that is so genuine that there's nothing that you would be afraid to say or share and ask questions about. And the door is open 24/7.
Yeah.
And the level of support, I've met Mother Gaia. She's that way. I've met the Black Madonna, and she's a spirit guide to me. She's another one that just blows my mind. I mean, the Black Madonna is just unbelievably loving. She comes to me. She's just she looks like she's about 65, but she's an Aboriginal woman. And the love reminds me of my grandmother. And
I can see that.
I just call her Mama, and she comes to warn me. If she warned me about COVID, she said, this is what's going to happen. You need to get ready. And she said, it's going to be intense for a few years. And, so I asked her, why is this happening? And, what do I need to do? And, I asked her a lot of questions. But, that's the beauty of not having a bunch of religious ideas in your head that stop you from experiencing reality.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's why I say belief systems are very, very dangerous, because as soon as you believe something, you stop asking questions and being open to a higher truth.
Yeah. And there's this whole trend right now of, I don't want to say like Christianity isn't a trend, but more and more people are like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
And that's
like
what
they're
happens when
going to the
people get
church.
scared.
Yeah.
It's well known in psychological research that whenever you feel afraid and feel like there's a threat bigger than you can handle, you revert backwards in your programming. So, for example, we're in a Christian culture. So most people, even if they don't call themselves Christians, were raised 85% of the world
Christians.
population claims religious affiliation. So 85 every 100 people on the planet were raised in some kind of religious indoctrination. So even someone that now thinks they're a materialist, if they get under enough stress, they start looking for a daddy figure or a protector. So because we're in a Christian culture, our streets are named after Christian names, our businesses, our holidays. I mean, it's just, you're saturated with Christianity, whether you know it or not.
I'm Andrew and you're Paul.
I'm Paul, which means the messenger, by the way.
Yeah.
So what happens is you revert back to unconscious programming, because when you're acting unconsciously, you don't have any cognitive processing. So you can reflexively generate a response. And that's the fastest way to create safety and security. For example, if you were running from a lion, it would be a bad idea to throw a cartwheel in. That would be a conscious choice, which would threaten your life and slow you down.
Yeah.
When you're running from a lion, you'll climb a tree so fast you don't even know you did it. And that's how the unconscious works to protect you. The problem is we, as children, didn't have any control over what was programmed into our unconscious. So when an event like COVID comes, or the financial system starts to get unstable, or you get threats of world wars, people get scared.
Yeah.
And then they congeal around a daddy figure that makes them feel safe. And now you have people like Russell Brand and many others becoming born again Christians, left, right, and center, which is a sign that they're looking for the safety and security that comes with an ideology that makes them feel safe, that if they die, at least their sins will be forgiven, and there's people around them that share similar values.
Mm-hmm.
And so religions are organizing structures. They organize the flow of energy and information in any society to give it a chance to survive. That's one of the key functions of a religion, is that it's organized around values. And when we have organization of values, then we have less likelihood of killing each other. So the real function of a religion, aside from the intention to realize who and what you really are, is to organize people so they don't kill each other.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
I have a question to ask you that's off topic, but it's
Okay.
very interesting. We might as well just go here.
Wherever.
There's this, they're calling it a giant mothership, 3L Atlas.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Have you talked about that?
I've heard a lot of talk about it.
Have you remote viewed it? Have you looked at this thing?
No. I'll give you my perspective on it. God is in everything and everywhere. There's nothing here but God.
Mm-hmm.
If God is that for which there is no other, which is what a God is the only being that can create and sustain itself. Even the devil can't do that.
Yeah.
It means that there's nothing here but God. We are in and as God's body. This is the physical expression of the divine. So you can go to the moon and meet the spirit of the moon. You can go to my rock garden and meet the spirit of every rock in the garden. You can meet the spirit of every plant and every tree. How do you think the shaman learned to make ayahuasca? Nobody came to the planet from another solar system and star system and said, oh, let me show you how to mix these plants together. You won't believe what'll happen. The shaman all say the plants taught us. I know that because I talk to plants all the time. I've learned tons from plants and trees. The point I'm making is God's in everything, whether it be an asteroid or not. And so for me to, remote view to see if this asteroid's really an alien ship, well, there's aliens everywhere. I've run into countless of them in meditations. They come to me often and talk to me, if most people realized where their souls were from, they're from all over the galaxy. We're all aliens. We're all pretending to be humans, but we're really spiritual beings from other places and from other experiences. So, my way is to let my soul guide what I look into and what's important and what's not important.
Yeah.
Because if you start looking into everything that somebody puts on social media, then you'll do nothing but live out of fear that something terrible is going to happen. And then you miss the whole point of life.
99.9% of the time, nothing happens.
Yeah. And so, is there a spirit in that thing? Probably. Is there aliens? Maybe. But look, I can turn on clairvoyant vision and tell you this room is full of life, and we're in multiple dimensions, interpenetrating multiple dimensions, right? The astral dimension is far more vast than the physical universe, and it's populated heavily with spirits of many types, and it's right here, right now, right? So most people have the limited depth of perception that they do because any more information would decrease their survivability. For example, if I could give my clairvoyance to most people, it would actually threaten their survival
Yeah,
because they
crush 'em.
can't manage 4 doctors and paying the bills and knowing what food to eat and what the power of their money is,
Let alone astral entities.
let alone dealing with alien intelligences and everything else.
Yeah.
So what I've seen from 41 years of teaching and practicing since I was a child, God unveils the secrets to you when you
You're right.
demonstrate that you have enough stability with the reality that you're in to handle more reality. And that's why psychedelic drugs can be very exciting but very dangerous, because
Yeah.
it can open you to the astral dimension, most specifically, and the archetypal dimension. And you can run into a wild array of beings from the very darkest to the most beautiful.
Mhm.
And it can either make you feel safe and secure and happy and wow, or it can scare the living shit out of you
Mhm.
and turn you into a schizophrenic. The difference is readiness.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a lot of responsibility with the use of drugs like that, because what can awaken you to your true nature and potential can also destroy you.
Wow.
And that's just hard truth.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start flooding the streets with any of these kinds of drugs, get ready for some very strange and interesting cultural shifts.
It's happening now.
Well,
Legalization of psilocybin and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's I don't think we want to get into too much of the politics around it, but there's a lot of this that's, allowed by the government. And one of the things that psychedelics do is they knock the man gene right out of most men and turn them into
soy boys.
soy boys that want to love everybody while their country's being toppled and taken over by foreign interests and negative
Yeah.
interests. So one of the motives of powers that be is to disable the young men in any culture when they want to do a massive cultural re-engineering, because those are the ones that are there to defend the population. That's why all native societies had a rite of passage ceremony to turn boys into men and warriors to protect the tribe and to protect
Yeah.
its hunting territories. And so if you wipe out the ability for a tribal society to develop warriors, you kill the tribe. So if you want to, this is
That's what's happening.
why, heroin and cocaine and all these drugs are flooding the streets, because the George Soroses and all these guys that are social
They understand
engineers,
it. Yeah.
they know exactly how to wipe out a culture, and the American government's wiped out many. I mean, God, you think all this sex trafficking and pornography and stupid shit is by accident?
Oh
Hell
my
no.
God,
It's how you
man.
distract people from reality. And it's how you get young men to be estrogenized and weak and,
Yeah.
can't get an erection and can't stand up for themselves. And unfortunately, religion's one of the most powerful tools for controlling people's minds and turning them into worshipers of daddy figures instead of finding God within themselves and getting clear on what they're willing to live for and die for. And reality is how you make that choice. What does my life depend upon? Well, it depends on food, water, air, and people that love you, and people that are neighbors that share values that will support you in times of need, whether it be physical emergency, a family crisis, a life crisis, or
Yeah.
another pandemic.
Which will come soon, probably.
Well,
We'll be ready.
They're always up to
Mhm.
the next thing. I
The
mean,
chicken flu or
these
whatever.
guys
the
got
thing
more
is.
money than God, and they're, but they are the keepers of the negative polarity, right? So
Yeah.
from a spirit gem perspective, if it wasn't for them, just ask yourself this question: how many people awoke
So
to
many.
food, awoke to taking care of themselves, awakened to the importance of a spiritual practice, awoke to the value of friendship and the need for family because of the pandemic,
100%. Millions of people.
right? So the funny thing is the devil's job is to uphold the good.
Mm-hmm.
So when people get too commonplace, then those that are very good at creating negative experiences come around and stick people in the ass with a pitchfork and give them something to wake up for.
It's a beautiful perspective.
Wake up or you're going to lose all your freedoms.
Yeah.
And so when the Black Madonna came to me in meditation, not with drugs, and I purposely committed myself to 19 years of Tai Chi and other practices to make sure that I could go as deep as I possibly could and compare the psychedelic experience so that if I had insights and revelations on psychedelics, people didn't write me off as a drug user. So I did a full commitment to both sides.
Yeah.
And so I said to the Black Madonna, I said, why is this happening? She said, Mother Gaia is overloaded with children who are not fulfilling their role in taking care of the planet. So
Yeah.
this is an initiation process, and this will force children to become adults or they will die, which is the nature of an initiation process. So she said, what looks so terrible is to teach people to learn to pay attention to what supports life, to protect it and to defend it, and to get healthy enough to contribute to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the cost of ignorance will be injuries and death. And that is how people grow up. And if you don't put them in situations like that, they will just numb themselves with drugs and television and alcohol, and
Take
the
up
world will
space.
fall apart.
Yeah.
And then souls don't get to do what they came here to do, which is evolve.
Wow.
So,
The Black Madonna dropped some wisdom on you.
oh, yeah. And many of these beings are loaded with this deep truth.
So you did Tai Chi. I mean, you still do it, but 19 years, compared it to psilocybin and all this other stuff. I've never done any plant medicine. I'm
Oh,
excited to
wow.
do it with you.
Yeah, well, it's freaking awesome if it's done correctly. I mean, it's, I remember Ram Dass's guru, when he tried LSD, he said, this is cheating. These are God molecules. This is enlightenment in a bottle. The question is, will you step up to the plate? The medicines show you the door, but you got to walk through it.
Interesting.
That's why people get in trouble. They keep thinking they feel connected to God as long as they're on the drug, but then they have to go back to the world. And the question is, can you carry the
resonance.
wisdom that
Yeah.
the medicines have exposed you to into your daily life? And most people are too lazy, and society has such a low center of gravity.
Yeah.
Misery loves company, and
100%.
lazy people attract lazy people. So, and the more you evolve, the more of a weirdo you become, right? I've been attacked as being a cult leader and every other damn thing for my whole career. I'm like, oh, really? I'm a cult leader. Well, that's interesting. I teach people to think for themselves, take care of themselves, have a dream, and go out and make something out of themselves. And my goal as a therapist is to teach you not to need me, or I'm not a very good therapist.
Yeah, that's not
That's
a cult
the
leader.
opposite of a cult leader. But,
Yeah.
childish people say childish things.
Which is why I'm glad that we actually do what we do.
Absolutely. Me too.
It's so remarkable to see the lives changed, the impact that you're making with all your information and working with you over the past 8 years. Dude, if you had a cult, I would be in it. Sign me up.
Well, my cult is quit bullshitting yourself. I have a series of videos I did on YouTube to help people called The Fastest Way to Health. The first thing I say,
Stop bullshitting
the
yourself.
fastest way to health is to stop bullshitting yourself. That is it.
Yeah.
And, it's the nature of a child to tell themselves stories that aren't true. And it's part of the growth and development of a child's imagination. But if that goes on into adulthood, it can really disable you, and it can disable a family and a nation and businesses
Yeah.
and a world. And so along comes Mr. Dark side, the devil or whatever you want to call it, the negative force, to give you a little growth
Course
stimulus.
correct.
A little growth stimulus. Steiner describes how the full moon is very stressful to plants, but they need it because it makes them stronger.
More resilient.
So each month they have to go through a stressful period, and it is like us going to the gym and doing a little bit longer of a workout and pushing ourselves harder like an elite athlete has to do in periodical cycles.
Yeah.
So everything in nature is learning and growing and becoming, and we can't make the mistake of thinking that we're different because we are nature and we are spirit, and matter is spirit moving slowly enough so you can interact with it. Otherwise, everything would be happening all at once and you couldn't make meaning out of anything.
Yeah. Powerful, brother.
It's a fun ride.
It is. And it gets more and more, I mean, the older I get, the more fun it gets.
Absolutely.
The less I care what other people think, you dissolve the ego a little bit more.
Yeah. The ego is a very important aspect of ourselves. I think dissolving the ego and killing the ego, like so many people say, is a bad idea.
It's not the goal.
Healing it and,
having awareness,
cleaning it up and knowing what the ego's for is a great idea, because paradoxically, if there was no ego, there'd be no experience of love. The ego is what gives you your sense of self. If everybody had no ego, then we'd be like babies that didn't know the difference between a couch and their bodies and would shit and piss everywhere.
The doggos.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good.
Sorry, my big guard dog's barking at the gardener.
I think they're like, hey guys, you've been up since 3:30.
Yeah. Well, Drew, just thank you for everything. Thanks for a beautiful dialogue and coming out and visiting. And
of course, I'm so close. We need to do this more often for sure.
Yeah, we had a good sauna and a nice cold plunge and some good food.
Good combo.
Good espresso and good smoke. And
I had some great chocolate.
Gave you some nice venison
and the
jerky.
venison jerky was insane.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat half a bag right now.
That's good.
I'm excited to listen to that podcast coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, great. Well, thanks to all of you for sharing time with me and Drew. And thank you again, Drew, for making such awesome products. I truly do stand by them and love them and encourage everybody to. I think that one of the beautiful things about your products is you can take them on airplanes, you can take them to work. I mean, when you look at the compromises people are making by not having real food handy that's portable, it's the source of a lot of disease. Where you could, like I tell my students, look, if you had a package of Organifi juice, whichever one you want, red, gold, whatever, green, and you had a couple of carrots or an onion and a couple sticks of jerky, you'd be eating so good that if you ate that way for a month, your body would transform into something that would amaze you.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that eating clean and eating simple and not eating too much is a very, very good idea. In fact, I found research studies showing that the average American eats 3 to 5 times more meat than their body needs.
Wow.
And when you consider that 94% of that is coming from a feedlot, that's a high dose of toxins.
Yeah, too much pesticides,
rodenticides, herbicides, fungicides, glyphosate. That's a death cocktail.
Yeah, I love what you said. The average person gets 10 to 12 things. If you do green, red, and gold, the sunrise to sunset bundle, you're already at 30.
Yeah.
And that's just, it takes you a minute to make that.
Totally. And it's freaking good stuff. I remember when I was at your house one time doing some filming, your house in San Diego. What was that suburb called?
Mount Helix.
Mount Helix. Yeah. That was just such a stunningly beautiful place you had there. As I was leaving, you gave me a cup of Organifi Gold. And I hadn't tried it before. I'm driving home drinking this stuff like practically like high off the nutrition in it. And I'm like, this is fucking unbelievable.
I have it every night.
Taste of that stuff, the flavor. Like, shit, people are drinking crap all the time when they could just mix some hot water with this.
Or raw milk.
Or if you can handle raw
milk.
Like we got goat's milk here because we milk our own goats.
I love goat milk.
Our kids are eating fresh homemade cheese, yogurt, butter,
Amazing.
you name it. I mean, like, that's what I want. That's the one thing that my parents gave me that set the basis for my entire life and my career was being raised on a farm. Because I understood what real
Remember you
food
saying
was.
that.
I understood how life worked.
Mm-hmm.
I understood what responsibility was. And love is responsibility. That's the
Mhm.
other problem we have. People want love without any responsibility. Good luck.
Oh, that's an epidemic for sure.
Yeah. But my point about the ego a minute ago was no ego, no sense of self. There's no lover and beloved.
Yeah.
It's only, I can say I love Drew because I have an ego that makes me clear that Drew is seemingly separate from me. And that's what allows love to flow.
Mhm.
So the whole concept of getting rid of the ego is like not realizing you're getting rid of the ability to love each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you're in a non-dual state all the time, then there's no way to comprehend anything. You have to have a subject-object relationship to say I am
For real.
and you are. So killing the ego is just, you know, an idea of confused people. Healing the ego and letting it be a servant of the soul is a great idea, just like phones and
I like that idea better.
phones make better tools than masters, and so do minds.
Mm-hmm.
So, but here we all are in third grade for souls, planet Earth. She devotes herself to the process of us waking up. I think
Waking up.
the body's really like an embryo for the soul, and just like the butterfly has to break out of the cocoon and the chicken out of the egg. Once we've had enough time in a human body to recognize who and what we are and start focusing on that, then all of a sudden we reach the point where we're conscious without a body and our wings have sprouted and the butterfly leaves and flies into other dimensions and lives its dreams there.
I feel like I'm tripping out watching you right now. The background is like morphing into you. It's like speaking to me from this place.
Oh, well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, buddy.
I'm sorry I did put a little LSD in your tea
Yeah,
there.
I'm feeling it right now.
Just a small amount.
Just it's in it's a portal for sure.
It was a homeopathic though.
Yeah, exactly. If you hang around Paul Chek, you guys, if you're ever in his proximity, you'll feel that too. So
Well, unless you do something stupid and meet the paratrooper. Like workers that leave faucets running and stuff like that. But anyhow, great dialogue. Thanks to all of you for listening. I hope you enjoyed me and Drew's hangout, which we love to do. And thank you to my sponsors, including Organifi. Yay!
Yes.
Anytime you buy from the sponsors, you're doing something magical. You're putting money in the hands of people that actually care about you and make good products and go to great length to do it, who put money in the hands of organic and biodynamic and regenerative farmers who are caring for the earth. So you get to care for yourself, care for the companies that are taking care of you, care for the farmers that are loving the planet and you get a little bit going to the podcast so I can take the time out of my day to find amazing people like Drew and share as much as I can with you. So lots of love. Look forward to sharing something with you next week. And what? I don't know, because Penny controls all that. I just do my best to find cool, smart people that can excite me and you together and make us grow or give us the opportunity. And that's what love's all about. So congratulations on year 2 of fatherhood. And
thank you.
Look forward to doing lots more together.
Me too. Let's make it happen.
Great spirit.
Aho.
See you soon.
Thank you for listening to Spirit Gym with Paul Chek and today's guest, Drew Canoli. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the show on the podcast platform of your choice. This podcast is available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, and YouTube. You can find Drew online at drewcanoli.com or follow him on Instagram at Drew Canoli. Watch more on his YouTube channel at FitLife TV. Listen to the Drew and You podcast show on Spotify and Apple Podcast, and check out his book, You Be You, Detox Your Life, Crush Your Limitations, and Own Your Awesome. Available on Amazon in print, Audible, and Kindle editions. Organifi is one of our premier sponsors, and we greatly appreciate their support in bringing you this podcast. Go to Organifi.com/Chek20 and use the promo code Chek20 for 20% off your order. For more interaction with Paul and to share ideas and ask questions about topics discussed in this podcast, we invite you to join his Spirit Gym program and community. You can participate in live Q&A sessions with podcast guests, access the members forum within the Spirit Gym community where you can chat with other members, attend weekly virtual meetups with Paul, and study the comprehensive Master Key online program. Explore the options and subscribe today by going to myspiritgym.com.